Mujahadin-e MEK, is a terrorist group. Now, why do I say that? Well, they're on the State Department list of terrorist groups. Now, how did they get there? Well, pretty easy. They killed U.S. civilians. In fact, let me show you all the things that MEK has done. Like I said, State Department's terrorist organization list. They assisted several U.S. I'm sorry, they did not assist. They assassinated several U.S. military personnel and U.S. civilians working on defense projects in Tehran. That'll get you on a terrorist list. Oh, right, they also participated in the Iran hostage taking. Well, that was pretty bad. You know, that was a pretty significant blow to the country. And then, oh, right, worked with Saddam. They worked with Saddam Hussein. I mean, if that doesn't get you on the terrorist watch list, I don't know what else does. I mean, you kill Americans, you take Americans hostage in one of the most critical foreign policy events of our lifetimes, and you work with Saddam. Come on, over, right? So what's happening now? Well, all of Washington has decided, no, we're making money from those guys, and we like those guys. So we'd like to take them off the terrorist list. In fact, not only are we going to lobby for that, but we're going to take tens of thousands of dollars in speaking engagement fees from those guys in order to lobby the Obama administration to take them off the list. Now, these are not marginal players. These are huge Washington players on both sides. Look at this list. Clarence Page got paid $20,000. He's, of course, a columnist for the Chicago Tribune. He's on their board. And he actually says he's going to give the money back. The others are keeping the money entirely. Well, look at that. Newt Gingrich. I thought he was against terrorism. Ed Rendell, former governor of Pennsylvania, Democrat. Rudy Giuliani. Mr. 9/11. Well, I thought you hated terrorists, Rudy. What happened? Unless they're paying you money, in which case you love them, right? P.J. Crowley's on that list. You've got John Bolton. John Bolton is a top advisor to Mitt Romney on foreign policy. Can you imagine if Barack Obama's top foreign policy advisor got paid by terrorists over and over again? John Bolton has spoken at their events 3 times this year alone. There's no one who loves these terrorists more than John Bolton does, okay? And then you saw Howard Dean's on the list. And Linda Chavez is a conservative commentator. But, you know, Ed Rendell, okay, some can say he's a corporatist, etc. Howard Dean being on that list is horrible. And so I don't excuse any of it. All of those people you just saw should immediately be arrested. It is illegal to take money from an organization that is on our State Department terrorist list. It is illegal. There's nothing unclear about it. In fact, it turns out that there was a federal probe started in March to look into who's taking money from this group. So what's happening now? Well, now that they started the probe, you're not going to arrest half the Democrats and Republicans in Washington. No. They're just going to change the law so that they can then say, oh, we don't look backwards, we look forward. In fact, as I'm seeing this, I was thinking, oh, there's no way the Obama administration isn't going to change this law. Of course they are, right? And then I find out later, through another article I read, that a federal judge said, hey, you've got 4 months, the State Department, to decide whether you're going to keep him on this list or not. And I thought, oh, of course they're going to take him off the list. But let's hold, let's see what happens. By the way, I love the speech that Gingrich gave in front of them. He came out and he said, this is a mass worldwide movement for liberty in Iran. So if you're a terrorist we don't like, then you're a horrible civilian killer and we need to bomb you with a drone. If you're a terrorist we do like, well, you're a worldwide leader in liberty. It gets better. You know who Gingrich compared them to? He compared them to George Washington crossing the Delaware. So, what's the hell is going on with Mujahadin-e? Why are they getting all this support? Well, they're doing 2 things. One, they're spending a tremendous amount of money to lobby these people. They've hired one of the top lobbyists in Washington, and they're paying all these politicians on both sides. You pay them enough money, they'll do whatever you want. Terrorists, who cares, right? You took our hostages? Who cares? So then the second thing that they're doing is, it turns out they're back to working on terrorism. Now, some of this stuff was back in the 1970s, and then they helped Saddam Hussein in the 1980s. By the way, one of the excuses is, oh, no, these guys are against the Iranian regime, and they've got popular movement inside of Iran, and we need to support them. Turns out, inside Iran, they are despised. Why? Because they worked with Saddam Hussein when Iraq and Iran were at war. So they worked against their own country. That's why the people inside Iran, not the regime, but the people, hate MEK. They're like, we're not going to work with those people. So what are they doing now? They're working against the Iranian people again. But this time they're doing terrorism for us. So when I say us, I mean US and Israel. There's a recent article implicating the United States in this, but we do know Israel is doing this. MEK is apparently helping them kill, assassinate civilian Iranian scientists who might or might not even be working on their nuclear program. Their nuclear program, which at this point is an energy program. You're working on an energy program, who cares? We're going to assassinate you. One time they killed a guy that had nothing to do with the nuclear program. Why? It said in an article through an inside source in the Israeli government, they wanted to send a message: don't even be a physicist in Iran. We'll kill you. So these are the terrorists that our politicians are supporting. Now, you ready for the conclusion? Just read an article saying the Obama administration, according to the Wall Street Journal, will be taking them off the terrorist list. Because if you grease enough politicians in Washington and you kill the civilians we want you to kill, well, then you're magically no longer a terrorist. Now we label you a good guy and we continue to take money from you.